What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the BMR NBA show. My name is Junior Browne. I'm joined as always by my guy Jordan Sharp. You know the homie J Money's in the house. I'm not with the long talking, so I'll let these fellas do the recap so we can get into today's games. Jordan, what did you think of last night?
Last night wasn't great for yours truly. Talen Horton-Tucker couldn't hit anything offensively last night. That was a bit surprising. I don't expect that to be the norm, but he's had a couple of bad games, obviously, since guys started coming back. Even without LeBron last night, didn't help him offensively. He was doing other good things, played some pretty good defense, but not enough to get my prop pick on the over, so lost that. Crazy ending in the backdoor cover of the Detroit to Miami. That one kind of pissed a lot of people off, I know. And then obviously the late games, we didn't really know a whole lot when we were talking about Denver and Portland and Dallas and the Clippers. But Luke ended up coming back for Dallas. They ended up getting the win. That was pretty good. That was definitely the play. We were sitting here contemplating that when the health and safety protocols news broke, and ended up not mattering because nothing happened with the Clippers and everybody played except Batum, who had already been ruled out due to health and safety protocols, and Mavs ended up winning straight up. So that was the play last night. That was definitely the one I missed out on, wished I would have bid on. How'd you end up, J Money?
Yeah, I just had one play. I took the Mavs. I just took a personal play yesterday. Mavs money line plus the 5. As I said on the show, if I had the best play, it would have been the Mavs. Once I heard them cancel shoot around, I knew some quirky shit was going on. Regardless, even if everybody did play, their shots would be hidden, right? You get thrown off of rhythm. So once I saw that, I had to hop on them plus the 5, sprinkle on the money line, and it worked out. I didn't watch the game, but the tail end. But I saw that it ended up going to overtime, and they still won. So the money's in my account. Let's keep it going today.
With that said, fellas, let's get to today's slate, because yesterday I didn't even watch any games. Like I was telling the fellas before the show, it was my mama's birthday. Got to celebrate the person that gave you life. So I was busy sipping, not watching ball. And it was a good thing I was, because I didn't win a goddamn thing yesterday. That's 2 losing days in a row. It's the first time I think that's happened this season. So with that said, let's make things right. I'm not going to say we got a good one, but the Phoenix Suns are obviously one of the better teams in the league. And I like the fact that the Cleveland Cavaliers are starting to show something. I don't want to see any franchise just be perpetually garbage. It's not good for any city. It's not good for the league. And it's good to see them finding success with young guys. So I'm super interested to hear y'all's opinion. We're going to start with J Money this time around. My guy, what do you have here? Phoenix -4. You interested in that or what?
Phoenix -4. You say it's -4?
I think that's first half line.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at the first half line. I apologize.
No, I'm not even trying to put you on spot here. I'm just trying to see what the hell is going on, because I know I saw 7.5 here. I'm trying to see who's out. Shit,
my bad. I'm literally looking at the first half line because I wanted to take it, but go ahead. You go ahead. I apologize, everybody. It says
7.5. Obviously, Darius Garland, a huge question mark. I believe he did come back into the game last game, but still, he's questionable here with the neck. He took a pretty bad fall, so definitely we need him. Obviously, the Suns on a 13-game winning streak. It's tough to fade a team. Oh, it's not necessarily tough, but going against them, they are only 1-4 against the spread last 5. So if you ask me, they've somewhat been teetering on the loss. Even both games without Luka, the Mavs kept it close with them. They're on the road. When do I think they're going to drop one? It's going to be on the road. I think it could be possibly they should win this game, beat the Knicks as well, and then they'll probably drop that back-to-back game in Brooklyn, if you ask me, on November 27th. So if you ask me as far as the points, I lean Cavs here. Would definitely need Darius Garland in there, but obviously the Suns have been playing like world beaters lately, so it's tough to fade them. Lean Cavs, nothing official for me, Jordan.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, but I'm definitely not ready to step in front of the Suns by any means at all. I was thinking about doing, and Jay and I were both kind of leaning that way 2 nights ago when they whipped up the Spurs. So I mean, it's just, yeah, they're back. It's hard to say otherwise. And I'm someone who's very high on the Cavaliers, and even in this spot like Jay is even considering it. But you're right, Darius Garland being questionable absolutely gives me no confidence at all. Evan Mobley obviously still out for the next few weeks. Still without Colin Sexton. I mean, full health, yeah, would have loved to take points at home with the Cleveland Cavaliers here, but just too many injury question marks for me to get involved in. Times how hot the Suns have been lately. I mean, I think this game is probably going to be played at a pretty snail's pace, but I think the total also, reflects that. And the line movement kind of says that this is going to be a Phoenix win, and Cleveland's going to be lucky to get to 95 points in this game, especially if Garland doesn't play. If Garland doesn't play, that number may be 90 if Phoenix clamps down on defense here. So that would be where I would kind of maybe go in this direction, is kind of look to fade the Cavaliers if the Garland news comes out favorably for that. But other than that, it's a pass for me. I don't like laying that many points on the road, regardless of how many games in a row the Suns have won. It's just once you get up past that 2 possession mark, makes any road dog, regardless of who it is, a little bit fishy.
Listen,
road favorite, I should say.
Yeah,
they covered that game. Real quick, Jordan. They covered that game versus the Spurs. I mean,
I know
the
they
Spurs
covered
versus,
first half, and the Spurs made it a game. But yeah, you're right.
They only lost by 4.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Spurs covered, but Suns were up big, I think, in the first half of that one, right? So that was a little bit concerning. I think we talked about that though. They were on like the 3rd and 4 nights, right? They were kind of in that spot where they were like, we're gonna fade a little bit in the second half. But here they're rested. And against a much inferior team, I would take the Spurs, and at least in the current situation with the Cleveland Cavaliers' health, taking advantage over the Cavs most instances. So I think this may be, I don't know. I'm staying far away from the spread regardless. You can't touch it.
My bad, Junior. I didn't mean to cut y'all.
No, we good, bro. This is what we do. What I was going to say is, number one, I apologize for saying -4.5. Both my plays today are first half plays, so I'm just looking at. I was still looking at first half lines, so I apologize for that. And secondly, Jay Money said it better than I could when it comes to analyzing this game. The Suns have basically been on the brink of catching a loss in some of these games. They're not covering spreads, and it doesn't mean the fact that they're not covering spreads doesn't mean they're not playing well. The fact that they're not covering spreads means that teams are hanging around and have the chance to win. The Suns are just, a much better team who executes better than most of their opponents. So, and to piggyback off of what Jordan said, for me, it all depends on the Garland news as well. I can't really get involved in this game if he's not playing. And I think a lot of people in the league that don't really watch games and follow it as closely as we do because we cap it, realize the importance of Evan Mobley. They're just not the same team that they were at the beginning of the season that was having success without this guy. Like, even though he's only a rookie, he's a big body and he's a presence. He can do so many things. I think Evan Mobley makes these guys pretty legit. And when I say legit compared to what they've been since the LeBron era ended. So I don't got nothing on this game, but until the Cavaliers are healthy, an unhealthy Cavaliers team is the opposite of a bet on team for me. It's pretty simple. So with that said, let's move on to the next game. We got the Nets and we got the Celtics. I'm gonna throw it over to Jordan this time. I've actually been staying away from the Nets, even though that's my squad technically. Like, I don't have a squad, but it's a squad that I like. I don't have a good feel for what's going on with them, but I will say this. I will start investing in them more heavily if this defense holds into like 20 games. Like, if we get into like 20, 25 games, like we play like a third of the season, which a third of the season is basically like 26 games, 25 games, whatever, and they're still playing defense at this level, I'm gonna be investing some heavy money in the Nets. But their offense still doesn't really look right. James Harden still kind of looks like he has Luka Doncic dad bod. Like, he's not in shape right now, and it worries me. You know what I'm saying? James Harden used to shoot like 11 free throws a game. Now he's down to like, what, 6, 7? And that's a trend for the last like couple of years, right? So his offense is trending downwards. But what I do like about what he's doing is that he's a playmaker. And he's getting other guys easy baskets and good looks. I'm kind of just waiting for him to get in gear before I really start investing in them. And I know that sounds stupid on the surface level because the market is going to adjust to that. But the Brooklyn Nets have a real chance to do something if they can keep playing defense like that. But what do you think about them tonight, Jordan?
This game is so tough for me to bet on the spread because that not only are you kind of dealing with guys being out for Brooklyn, Bruce Browne and Joe Harris, obviously not huge line moving injuries, but important wings to this team on both sides of the ball. And then Jaylen Brown, I think he comes back. I think he plays tonight. I would be surprised if isn't able to get up for this big game, regardless of if he plays a full slate of minutes. But that being said, Junior, you're exactly right. The defense is where you're going to make money. Whoever's going to win this game is going to make money tonight because whoever plays the best defense is going to win. I don't think offensively they're pretty evenly matched. If James Harden is still kind of in that funk, if he breaks out of it though, Brooklyn could very easily be the play. But tough for me to get involved in a short spread like with this on a huge slate with tons of other options. That being said, got a pretty strong lead on the under here in this one at 216.5. If Browne comes back, that kind of hurts that a little bit. But if he's hedges a little bit to him being out potentially, and also even if he's in, that could very much improve their chances of slowing down Kevin Durant tonight, regardless of if they're able to do that or not. It will definitely help their chances of doing that. So I think for me, if this game, and also if Boston controls this game pace-wise, I could see this game turning into a real muck fest late in the game and getting kind of dragged down and tough defensive possessions if the game does stay close throughout the entirety of it, especially in that late third or early fourth quarter time, winning time, as we say. So under would be where I'd lean. Don't have a play on it officially, but that is kind of one of the plays that I was looking at. I got 2 understated. I already took. This was kind of the third one that I was looking at, just haven't taken it yet, but I think it's going to stay a lead at this point. I think it's firmly third on my list of unders today.
What you got, Jay? What you got for us?
Hey, I like them C's. I like the C's today, man. Obviously, so one angle is playoff revenge. Another way you can look at it, and I'm glad that Junior said that about Harden because that's exactly how I look at the Nets right now. 13-5 on the season, kind of fat and happy. You see what I'm saying? Kind of like Harden. Oh, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. Harden can't wait. His fat boy, he finna go. Boy, say he ain't worried about this game. No, I'm messing with you. I wouldn't say that he's not worried about the game. Obviously, the Nets have somewhat owned the Celtics here over the past few years, but you could also argue that the home team has owned each other as well, right? So a lot of those games, the Nets were at the house. They've only played the Celtics 2 games at the house. Obviously, last year in the playoffs, they won one of the games, 141-126. The Celtics won the other one. They were down up 2-0 and won. So the home team is 6-1 straight up and against the spread in the last 7 games, and I think it'll keep going here tonight. The Celtics, they've been at the house. They're getting hot. The Nets, they're on the road here. Like you say, Harden not getting all those superstar calls anymore. KD, obviously one of the better offensive players in the league, but what the Nets are the new Knicks, if you ask me. They're really good defensively, but their offense struggles. And the Knicks are the new Nets. Their offense is really good, but they're trash on defense. That's exactly how I look at it. So I'm riding with the Celtics tonight. First half, full game. Jaylen Brown came back in the last game versus the Rockets. So I know that they have him questionable for conditioning. You just got your ass kicked 4-1 in the playoffs by the Nets. I just see I can't say it's guaranteed, but I really think Jaylen Brown is going to play in this game. I think this is an all hands on deck game. I think that the day before Thanksgiving as well, it's trending towards the home team. So I'm riding with the home team. They've been at the house for a while. Playoff revenge. They've been hot right now. I'm picking a spot to fade the Nets. All this ESPN game, everybody on the Nets, and I'm just last point on this. I've noticed the ESPN games, when everybody's on one side, it tends to go the other way. I mean, that shouldn't be a surprise there, to be honest with you. Give me the Celtics here, first half, full game for me. C's up.
Like it, Jay. I like it. I don't got to play on this game. I just don't see an advantage, but I like Jay's breakdown. So if you want to ride with your guy, he's a moneymaker. With that said, let's move on to the next one because I ain't got nothing on this game. I do got something on this one, though. Speak of fat and happy, the Timberwolves have won 4 games in a row, which for them, obviously, if you know anything about the NBA, is not the norm. They started off the season, they were horrible, really, to start the season. I'm not gonna lie to you. Am I missing something? Yeah, I understand that Miami played last night. Yeah, I understand that they expended a lot of energy having to come back because they were down. I know that because I lost the first half and first quarter play. That being said, though, why is Minnesota? Why is this like the spread doesn't make sense to me? Nothing about it makes sense to me. So you're trying to tell me that I should be impressed with the fact that they beat the Kings, the Spurs, the super struggling Grizzlies, and probably the worst team in the league, the Pelicanos? Like, why does that impress me? Why is that worthy of this spread being so low? I have no idea, but I got Miami first half. Someone talk me out of it. Jordan, what you got?
I'm not going to talk you out of it. I will say this though, they had like 3 guys, Robinson, Bam, and PJ Tucker, all questionable. They all played last night, right? So that, I mean, if that's the case, then like
I don't know. Maybe I'm just ignorant. I'm not concerned.
I don't think I would be ignorant, like Minnesota. I wrote this. I'm not going against you by any means, but I think this kind of plays to your play a little bit. I have the under in this game, 212.5. I wrote this up for BMR, so I won't be too long-winded. You can go check out my thoughts on it basically. But it basically lines up with the Wolves. I agree with you. We don't need to overreact to their last 4 games, right?
Yo, Jordan. Is Jimmy Butler going to go lose against?
No. He's playing. I'm not worried about him, dude. I'm just worried about the other guys. I'm worried about the other guys that will. But anyway. The Heat have proven that on no rest they still play very well this season. They have the best net rating per 100 possessions on no rest. So I don't think the back-to-back scares me, but I do think that there's a chance they rest players. So combine that with the Wolves' defense, which has been good at home, cannot be denied that they've been playing a lot better at home defensively than they have been overall. You combine those factors, the potential for the Heat to rest people, not Jimmy, because he's going to go for like 40 tonight, but the rest of them make it a night off, and Jimmy may just be like, hey, give me the third stringers, guys. We'll beat these guys anyways, and that would be amazing as well. But I agree with you on the Heat side of things. If they lock down defensively, this Wolves team has no chance. Anthony Edwards aside, little bit SAWFT. If you don't know what that spells, that's a wrestling reference for soft on some of these other Timberwolves defensively. So I don't think the Heat are going to come in here and get muscled around by any means. They're gonna take these Wolves and knock them down a peg tonight. I agree, but I think it's going to be on the defensive end especially. So I wouldn't be surprised to see one or both these teams fall below 100 points tonight. So give me the under 212.5 on this one.
Those are good points by you there, Jordan, I must say. So the thing here, so obviously Carson Towns is not a good defender. It's a lot of different things here, Junior. The one thing I can tell you, and I love this Heat team. They're probably one of my favorite teams in this league. Like, literally, I love the hard nose of them. They're not the same team on the road, Junior. I think if you looked at their numbers, the difference from them playing on the road, their offense especially, I think that's why you see this line here. Obviously, part of it's in, so they have to put the rest advantage in there for the Timberwolves. They have to put that in the home court advantage. And the Timberwolves have won 4 straight and covered 5 straight as well. You could argue it's not against anyone, but they're actually playing well here. And don't look now, but the Heat beat them on May 7th. Before that, the Timberwolves had won 5 straight games. They actually have a big 3 now with Russell, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Anthony Edwards. So they got some defenders. They got Patrick Beverley now. They have guys like Jared Vanderbilt, who's a damn good defender as well. So I understand why this line is like this. They were -1 now. I don't necessarily say that the Timberwolves will be the favorite, but the way that the Heat have been playing on the road and it's a back-to-back, I can understand the way the line is like this. I love this Heat team, but this is one of those squads not as bad as like the Hawks. That big a difference on the road, but I just think they're not the same on the road, and without like they're kind of top heavy because when Lowry's not out there, you have Jimmy Butler as the point guard. I don't necessarily agree with that. It's Hero or Jimmy Butler that's having to be the point guard with the ball in their hands all the time. I know Jimmy Butler can draw some fouls, and I understand, Junior, where you're coming from. Jimmy Butler will want this game, so it's not a game that I bet, but I understand why. Like the Timberwolves are slowly but surely starting to get better. They finally have a coach. They're playing defense. They have a little squad over there, and the Heat aren't the same on the road. So I can understand it. Jimmy Butler obviously will want this one. They've been losing to the Timberwolves too, but I lean Timberwolves.
This is why I love doing this show, because I asked you guys to talk me out of it, which you didn't. But I agree with everything that you guys said. That is the reason this line is so low. The Timberwolves are not the same team we've come to expect. I'm just gonna tell you that I base my opinion on the Timberwolves on a couple of things. I think that adding Beverly and Vanderbilt, some of these guys who are defensive minded, has started to change the culture of this team. I'm kind of out on Karl Anthony Towns, and this is what I mean by that. Like, I feel like it was so easy for Anthony Edwards to come in and just kind of take over the leadership role of the team. You guys remember, there was a time just a couple of years ago that people are saying that Karl Anthony Towns is like the most valuable player under 25 years old. I don't think anybody would say that right now. I mean, he's 26 now, but he's just, I just feel like, I don't know. I'm not convinced by Minnesota. I'm just gonna say that, and I'm saying this to everyone watching the show because I want you guys to understand why I make my picks, just like I'm sure Jordan and Jay will tell you when they have their own biases. There's some teams that I'm not convinced by. Mm-hmm. This is one of those teams, and they could prove me wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll sit up here and admit it because I'm missing out on opportunities to cash, right? By not believing some of these teams. Portland's another one of those teams. I don't ever make Portland bets, and there's a reason for that because they can't be trusted with my money. They can't. So in this specific spot, though, I'm gonna say this: I just like the number, and I bet the number a lot in a lot of situations. You're giving me the better team, in my opinion, at half a point in a motivation spot where Jimmy Butler fucking hates these guys. Sorry to swear, he despises these guys. Okay. And they likewise despise him, right? So it goes both ways to a certain extent. But I took them in the first half because I like the number. And I do agree that in the second half, they probably more likely than not run out of gas for the simple fact that their offense is so much worse on the road than it is at home. So especially in the second half of these games. So this is why I like them in the first half. The Heat have been one of the top 10 teams in terms of net rating. In the first half, they are 9th in net rating in the first half. So yeah, I like the number. I like the team. I like Jimmy Butler with motivation, and I think Karl Anthony Towns is soft as baby shit. So as with that said, let's move on to the next game.
Jimmy Butler props.
Right. I really hope that Miami rests guys tonight and Jimmy just goes out there and just annihilates. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, I have no play on this game, so I'm going to throw it to my guy Jay Money because I want to hear his opinion. I'm very interested to hear, especially what you have to hear say about the Spurs, because this is another one of those teams I rarely invest in because I just can't seem to cap them well.
The Spurs are bottom feeders. I can tell you that now. Yeah. Don't get it twisted. I don't want to be long-winded, but there's teams that burn me, and I want to stay away from them too. So some teams just have your kryptonite. As bettors, we can't necessarily have a favorite team or teams that we just don't want to bet on because we could possibly miss out on money. But I'm with you on that. Some teams I just stay away from. And this number is small. It's small for a reason. The Hawks, when you want to fade a team when they've been at the house for 4 or more games, and their first game on the road, it's a total environmental shift. It's in theory, like my system tells me to take Spurs first quarter, first half. I'm not messing with it. I've leaned Spurs here, like even trifecta spot, and they're on a 5-game losing streak as well, going up against a 5-game winning streak for the Hawks. The line is super short. It says take the Spurs here. I'm not doing it. That's my breakdown of the game, Jordan.
No, I don't disagree with you at all. I think the Spurs would be the play if I had one, simply because I just looked down these matchups tonight and how bad the Hawks have been on the road, and I said, okay, how does Trae Young stop the red-hot DeJounte Murray? Without Hunter, how do they slow down Keldon Johnson? I mean, like, they have the Spurs have Pirtle back. It matches up well with the Hawks front court. Like, there's a lot of problems the Hawks have tonight on the road. I don't know if I'm going to step in front of them, but you guys already said it. They're a different team when they play away from Atlanta. And this Spurs team is a pretty good home team. Probably going to be a top 5 lottery team, like Jay says, but they still play hard, and they are one of the best coach teams in the league still. So you have to take those factors into account too. Still, for me, no play. This total sky high. I would not be surprised if this game got into a track meet, though, because we already know San Antonio plays up in pace. And I think Atlanta may take these guys a little bit for granted tonight and say we can get into a fast-paced style of game and still beat you. We don't need to bring our defense, which is pretty much been the norm for Atlanta on the road anyway. So, I mean, I could see this game getting pretty high scoring, but once again, probably not going to be me betting it tonight. That'd just be where I would lean.
Junior, you're on mute.
Sorry, I've been coughing the entire show, so I've been trying to mute myself. I don't have too much to say on this game. Like I said, I don't invest money on the Spurs. They are a bottom feeder, which, I guess everything has to even itself out. They've been one of the top tier teams since I was like a little kid and I ain't young. So they were bound to come up on a rough patch, and this is that rough patch. So I stayed the hell away from them. And the Hawks just got some pieces missing. And like Jay said, you really got to be aware when teams are in a situation like, you know what? Let's get to the next game, and I'll expand on the point that I'm trying to make. The Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers have been on the road since November 13th. That's just a rough spot for them. You add all the injuries and the short squad that they have. They played all these road games in a row. This number's huge. Golden State probably, gives it to them, especially because Golden State is the best defensive team in the league, and Philadelphia's offense, even though in net rating, it's really up there. When you watch their games, I don't know, man. Their offense to me kind of seems like it's not good enough for the defense that they're currently playing, because Philly has completely fallen off. If people out there want to say that Ben Simmons is the reason their offense is better, then it goes both ways. He's also got to be one of the main reasons that their defense sucks right now. So that being said, I have nothing on this game just because this is a team with Philadelphia that to me is just super unpredictable. Jordan, what you got?
I never really thought I'd say this, but you're right about Ben Simmons. It's funny that I thought his trade value plummeted, but just with the way Philly's been playing, it's got gone back up a little bit since the initial craters. So there's that. Be quick here because we got to get off. I got the under in this game. I grabbed it at 218.5. It's at 217 now. It's been kind of bouncing around that 216, 217 mark. Several reasons for this. Basically, whatever Golden State wants to do defensively tonight, they're going to be able to do it. I don't even think the Philly injury report really matters that much, but some of those guys for Philly, like Harris, Seth Curry, important pieces, if they sit out, it's going to help this even more. You mentioned it's a long road trip, extremely tired, best defensive team in the league. Philly doesn't get to 100 points tonight in a lot of scenarios in my eyes, and I think that's what happens tonight especially. So if that happens, I think it negates any sort of defensive struggles Philly may have. That's one of the main reasons I like the under here, just because I think pace-wise, I think Philly's only chance here is to probably slow these Warriors down, because if they let them get out and run, it's over. It's over in the first quarter, especially if Philly's injury situations fall against them. So, but that'll only help the under. Like I said, this I think this total's gone down for a reason. I think it continues to go down pretty significantly if Curry or Harris get ruled out. If both of them get ruled out, I love it tonight. So, get a little preemptive under here in this one. But I see a game where Philly does not score above 100.
Yeah, as Warriors are nothing for me, Sixers could be ready to go to the house.
It's really that simple. It's got to be Warriors or nothing. If you're playing Philly, you're a lot braver than me with your money, because I don't see what you would be basing that on. They're just trying to hold it together until they get their squad back. So until that time, they're not a bet on team. And I feel like Golden State, what is it, 10.5 now, 11? Seems like a super square bet to me, because I think they're going to go into the mentality. They're going to go in with the mentality that their defense wins them this game, so they're not even really going to be too worried about trying to win by margin or putting on a show or whatever the case might be. This is going to be strictly business. I actually think that the team total, I don't know what it is, but I've the more I talk about this game, the more I'm interested in a Philly team total under. Because I really, really have a hard time seeing them get to 100 points, like Jordan said. Because this Golden State defense is for real. They can switch at every position, and they have a system that's been in place for a super long time. That continuity you can't underestimate that. So, with that said, unless you guys got anything to add, let's get to our picks and get these people out of here.
Yep, let's get it.
All right, I'm going to go first. I actually have the Bulls in the first half. I'm not going to be long-winded about it. I like the Bulls. I like the spot, and I think they get the job done. J Money, what you got for us today?
Celtics first half, Celtics full game for me. Playoff revenge, all this. Nets fat and happy, Harden ready for Thanksgiving. Celtics for me, seize up.
I like it. Give me Miami, Minnesota under 212.5 tonight. Give me under 218.5 Philly and Golden State. Philly's team total looking at about 102.5, 103 tonight. So maybe also a pretty good one to add on the under.
Yeah, I got Miami first half and Bulls first half. The Bulls line is pretty big, but I think they get the job done. Thank you for joining us as always, guys. Make sure you check out BMR. Make sure you check out my guys on Twitter, J Money. You know, J Money does shows all the time, every day. So make sure you check him out on this one and any other show that he's doing. Check out my guy Jordan's articles. My name is Junior Browne. Those are my homies. And we'll be back tomorrow with some more NBA talk. Thank you for joining.
Happy Thanksgiving.